Greetings, Professor Kimber and the rest of my viewers. My name is Jason Fogdy, and this is my Professional Dispositions video. Today I will be discussing the role of the special education teacher. I will discuss some of the dispositions that make teachers successful, where I will address some of my own personal strengths and weaknesses, and finally I will be discussing the possible effects personal bias can have in the student-teacher relationship. Let's begin by exploring the role of the special education teacher. The special education teacher has a role in supporting learning, improving planning, and practice. They must uphold professional expectations and ethics, and they must collaborate with those around them to assure the success of the student as well as their own growth as a teacher. The special education teacher must understand how a student's background and exceptionalities influence their learning process. They must work to create a safe and effective learning environment, and they must be ready to intervene when students begin to flounder. The special education teacher needs a clear understanding of curriculum as well as the ability to adapt the curriculum in order to help a student gain mastery over their subject. They must then use varying and unbiased assessment approaches so they will know how to adapt their teaching plan for future student success. When the special education teacher is writing their lesson plans, they must do so with the interests and abilities of their student in mind. The teacher should make use of the many different technologies available to them to help facilitate a student's learning and to develop the student's critical thinking and problem-solving skills. A special education teacher has the obligation to use professional and ethical principles to deliver their teaching approach. As a professional, they should be committed to a lifelong learning process so that they can stay current in their profession and effective as a teacher. Finally, as a special educator, I will be collaborating with parents, other teachers, and professionals in the school and the community to develop the best approach that will help students succeed. Collaboration will also serve to continually advance the teacher's knowledge and the knowledge of the special education community at large as we learn and grow from each other. The most successful teachers all have certain dispositions in common. These dispositions are what enable the special education teacher to fulfill the roles we have been discussing. Some of the dispositions I feel I have that will serve me well in my career as a special educator include compassion. Compassion means that I have a heart that genuinely cares for my students as people. Each student is created by God uniquely and loved and cherished by God. Because of this, I care for them as unique individuals who are valued for who they are and how they were created. Now, the disposition of advocacy flows directly out of compassion. Advocacy in the life of the special education teacher drives them to create positive change in the environment they work in and the people they work with. As an advocate, I go above and beyond the call of duty. My compassion drives me to form real relationships with students, to get to know them as people, their likes and dislikes, their life beyond the classroom. While I'm driven to teach them how to be successful in the classroom, my heart for advocacy drives me further to teach them how to use their problem-solving skills to deal with the issues they face in everyday life. As with any career, it is important to know your weaknesses as well as your strength. One of the areas where I feel I have room to grow in is high expectations. Now, Grand Canyon University's Professional Dispositions of Learners Forum defines high expectations, stating, educators should believe that all students could learn and should set and support realistic expectations for student success. Now, as I list this as a weakness, it's important to note I have a great desire and I'm very driven to help my students succeed and go as far as they can. But where I have weakness is in understanding what are realistic expectations for them and how I can best encourage them in their growth. Now, as we talk about weaknesses, it is also critical to explore personal bias. It may be more common than you think in the special education classroom to find personal bias. These biases may be completely unknown or at least partially unknown to the teacher. The fact is that some students are going to be more challenging, dare I say, more difficult than others. Some will desire to learn even if they lack some of the skill to do so. Others will have no desire to learn. It can be very tempting for a special education teacher to gravitate and show bias to those who they more naturally connect with. Bias, however, has no place in the classroom. It's destructive to the individual and to the class as a whole. What it means is we're no longer exercising compassion. We're no longer treating them as individuals. We are looking at them as groups. This is a group of people who want to learn. This is a group of people who don't want to learn. This is a group of people who struggle more, a group of people who don't struggle more. It's important to remember to treat them as individuals and to encourage them no matter what their attitude. Personal bias can cause resentment between students and teachers and between parents and teachers and even between parents and the school at large. Thank you for joining me today. I hope you have come away with a better understanding of the role of the special education teacher, the dispositions that make teachers successful, and the possible effect personal bias can have on the student-teacher relationship in the special education setting. My name is Jason Fogdy, and I thank you for listening.